Hi guys, how are we? Let me just check. I forgot to move my microphone a bit closer. Can you hear me okay? Good morning, good morning. So I'm here today and I'm doing a bit of a random chat. My mental capacity for the last couple of weeks is just it's just a bit everywhere, and I was trying to think of a topic the last few days, and I had a couple of ideas, but I just felt like I've been a little bit manic. So I thought I'll just come in here and do a bit of a rough, casual, how's everyone going? You can ask me any questions and we'll just hang out for today. I haven't done that for a while. I haven't just had like a hangout for a while, so I thought that might be a bit of fun. So yeah, how you all going? Let me see who's in this chat. Ian's here, Jonathan, Neil's craving steak at 1 o'clock in the morning at the UK, which is hilarious. I think that's hilarious. Ian's here too. We got the two Ians. Who else is in here? Now I just saw this, Anki and Issue. I've recently found your channel and I have almost watched all of your videos. Thank you so much for being transparent and sharing all the valuable nuggets for the aspiring people. Thank you so much. That really means that means so much to me. Yeah, it really does. It's so nice to get feedback, and yeah, I really appreciate it. And I can see then you've written here, after watching your video, I've listed an item that was lying around at my house, and I'm very happy to announce that I've sold 4 items so far. It's not a lot, but I've started my gear. 4 items is amazing. The thing is, you've got out there, you found stuff around your house, which is the absolute best way to start with reselling, is just sell stuff from around your house and just get a feel for it, see if you like it, learn the platform, and it's good to be able to learn the platform with things that are in your own house and you haven't gone and spent money on. So, I think that's fantastic. You've done it exactly the right way, and you will soon decide whether or not you like reselling or not. Reselling is not for everyone. It's actually a pretty hard gig, and, it can consume you with stuff that, you'll notice that a lot of resellers look like hoarders because we have a lot of stuff and we get addicted to buying things to resell, and we often buy more than we actually get listed. But you will soon learn whether or not you enjoy reselling, and whether or not whatever level you want to decide you want to take reselling to. I think it's awesome. I mean, there's so much room for just doing reselling on the side and making a few $100s that can either pay off a bill or might pay for a family holiday or buy something. Who knows, maybe you love expensive handbags and you want to treat yourself to an expensive handbag, and maybe by reselling things you can get your handbag. It doesn't matter what your reason is, as long as you've got your why, you can create it with reselling. That's the awesome thing about it. Whether or not you want to do it as a part-time or a full-time gig, or just like I said, just to buy something that's a treat or a family holiday, or just to pay off a bill. That's how I started. I started because I didn't have any retirement fund, and I wanted to start putting money into a retirement fund. So that was kind of the idea. If I was selling some things on the side, then maybe I could put that money into my retirement. Turns out that I'm still not putting enough into my retirement, but I absolutely fell in love with reselling, and I'm here doing it full time, and I haven't looked back. So hi Lainey. Hello, Modern Vintage Vogue shopper. I love your name. Hi Gay. Oh, Gay's doing so well. She posted on her Instagram the other day that she watched my shoe tutorial, and she changed the way that she was doing her shoes, and she found that it put her into more of a rhythm, which was my whole goal of showing you how I do it. Because people do always say to me, how do you do things so fast and get so many things listed? And I think a lot of it is just finding that flow and finding that rhythm, and getting yourself into a routine and making those habits. And once you've got those set into place, it really does make you faster. And, I was so happy to hear your feedback on that video, Gay, because that video was a little bit different than any other videos I've done before. I really did try to make it like a bit of a tutorial, and, so it was really, really nice to see that you took on that advice and tried it. And, you said that you found yourself being more productive and it worked for you. And yeah, it makes me feel chuffed. That was the outcome. And even if my video only helps one person, like I feel like I added value to somebody else. So, thanks for letting me know, Gay, and I'm really glad it worked for you, and fingers crossed now on your shoe sales. Have I tried ostrich steaks? Ooh. Ostrich? I don't think we really eat ostrich over here in Australia. Like ostrich, I've never tried ostrich, and I don't want to. Hey Nick, how you going? My favorite Nick. Hi David, and we've got 1969. I am me. Hi Mel, do you use the same storage system with your different stores? As in, do you mix your inventory between stores in the same tubs? Yep, it does make sense, and yes, I do. Everything's just got a SKU number in my inventory. So, it doesn't make a difference what store it's part of. It's either just got to go into a tub or onto a shelf. So I just use the same system for multiple stores. So yeah, I am gonna downsize some of my stores. I'm finding it just a little bit overwhelming having the amount of stores that I do. So I do want to go back to only having probably 2 stores. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Been running some sales and stuff to try and clear some stuff because, yeah, I'd really like to have less stores. Like I've moved over to doing the Australia, like doing my shipping labels on Australia Post, which I know everybody thinks is absolutely mad that I haven't been doing it for a long time. I've always printed my shipping labels via the eBay system and just printed them on my printer, and it's worked well for me, and it's fast, and it just goes onto my monthly eBay account, and then at the end of the month, I get whacked with a huge eBay bill because it's got a month's worth of postage on it and all my fees and stuff, and it is a large bill, like it's always, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000, but I saved the money and then just paid as a chunk, and it's kind of worked well for me. But I really decided that I wanted to get some storage. Actually, I needed to get some storage. If you could see my poor house, oh my God, like I'd got to the point the last couple of weeks where it's become inevitable and I had to get some storage. So it was really like, how do I save some money to be able to now take on the expense of getting a storage unit? And it was logical to do the Australia Post. So for everybody who has wanted to know, I bought, hold on. Let me just, ta-da! I bought the label printer. Everybody has been on me for the last, I don't know, over a year. People have been shocked that I haven't had a label printer. And it's just one of those things, like I just didn't feel it was a necessity in my business. My regular laser printer was printing my orders perfectly fine. My system was working fast for me. And, it really wasn't an issue for me. But the store's been growing, and, I'm doing more and more sales, and Monday's post is becoming absolutely easy. And I just decided it was time to invest in the label printer. But like I say always, if you are a new reseller, you don't need to invest in $300 label printers straight away. Yes, they're good. Yes, I love it. It's fantastic. I won't deny it's fantastic. It is taking me a little bit of getting used to, just because I had a system with my other labels, and now I have to create a new system because this one kind of spurts them all out at once. And before I was printing individually and, writing SKUs on my things, so I knew where to find things, and it's just different. But I do love the label printer, and everybody who was always on my back about not having one, Ken Skeets, I'm talking to you. I've got it. So yeah, I do love my label printer, but I bought the label printer. I've moved over to My Post with Australia Post. And I was really lucky because I have a wonderful post office lady. And even though I wasn't using the My Post for a long time, she's actually been scanning my orders in every week when I bring them in and putting them onto an Australia Post account for me. So by the time I went into my post, you know, I'm already on the high bands or whatever because I do so much posting. But that is thanks to my Australia Post lady who's helped me out in doing that. But basically using the Australia Post system now, you know, I'm saving like $1, $2 more on each item that I'm posting. So that money that I'm saving is now going to go towards paying for storage. So, but it is taking me a little bit longer. Like I have the last few big postage sessions, I've actually felt quite out of sync, and it feels like it's taking me longer. And I think having the multiple stores with the My Post system is a pain. I have to keep integrating my eBay store, so I have to kind of integrate one store, print the labels, pay for the labels, log out, integrate another store, print those orders, and then again and again. And it's just like, oh my goodness, this is insane. So yeah, I think if I can cut back to two stores again, that would be good. So yeah, that's on the to-do list. I've made it into the 21st century. Well, I mean, I like the label printer, but to be honest, I still kind of miss my laser printed. I feel like I was working faster with the laser printed labels, but I'm sure this is going to help in the long run. You know, it's just one of those things where when you've done something one way for so long, you get in such a routine and such a habit. And now to change something up, I have to start again. So I have to find a new rhythm with the labels and a new system. And, you know, I'm sure it won't take long, but it's just finding that groove and getting used to it. And it's like anything, isn't it? You know, if you change something, it's hard at the beginning. It's always hard. And yeah, but you have to change with the times because that's how you grow. And if you don't change, you just stay the same. And, you know, nobody wants to stay the same. That's how we become stale, and that's how business becomes stale. So, you know, I'm all for growing. Mel, do you need to have a different store for each niche? Like example, if I want to resell clothes, shoes and beauty, do I need to create 3 different stores, or is just one okay with eBay? Just one is perfectly fine. And I would most certainly say do not create another store until you're over at least 1,000 listings. I think it's unnecessary. If you have less than 1,000 items, I would definitely not. I don't think it's worth. You're better off to put all your energy into that one store and, you know, give that one store more momentum. You know, the more you list in a store, you know, the more sales are going to come in. So if you've got minimal items and you start putting them across to other stores, then you're not going to get that same momentum. So no, just stay with one store. You know, I originally did create different stores to niche out. I'm not really sure if it was a great thing to do. Like, I don't mind 2 stores. I think at the level that I'm at, having 2 stores is quite good. But, you know, I tried to niche out into a few different stores, and it's been hard. So I wouldn't recommend it. No, stick with your one store, build your momentum up, and, you know, like get that going. And don't even think about a second store unless, you know, you're over 1,000, 1,500 items, and then you might. If you want to, you can, but there's no reason. You can have thousands and thousands of items in one store. So, you know, a lot of people create a second store because they kind of get to their 15. Like if you're in the middle level store, you're allowed like 1,500 listings. You can actually list as many as you want. You can have like 100,000 in that store, but after 1,500, you start paying insertion fees on each item. So a lot of people move to a second store, so then they don't have to pay the insertion fees on those items. But, sometimes for a little while, you're actually better off to pay the insertion fees than another monthly store fee. So you've got to kind of get that balance. But yeah, don't rush into a second store. Hey, Flipper, got to run. Hi, bye. See ya. Is there an unboxing mail? Unboxing of what? I missed that. I must have missed something. Your shoe series is awesome. Thank you so much. If I miss a question here, because this is going fast for me, please just rewrite it, because I'm not the best at reading the chat. I'm saving for one. I can't wait to get it. I'm finding with my post business that I have to keep going in and putting the state in. Yes, that's one thing I found. You do have to put in the state. Also, sometimes the phone number, I have to put in the 0 in front of the phone number. I'm kind of having to write the description there so I know what, because otherwise I'm printing, yesterday I printed out 80 something audit labels. So, that's, for me, it's how do I know which label is for which order? So I'm trying to put in the little description, like a note that tells me what it is, or the skew or something. But I can't imagine if I wasn't putting something in that description. I'd be looking at those 80 orders between stores and kind of going, what is each order? That's where I'm getting a little bit I need to find a new rhythm. But I think the My Post is definitely more time consuming for me than just printing out on the eBay. It's 100%. It's taking me longer. But I'm saving money, so win-win. And I think the more I do the My Post, I will get faster at it, and it'll become more of a rhythm. And I know people that have moved to My Post and now actually prefer it, so I'm hoping that will happen with me. Where are we? There you go. Nick's saying have one big store. We integrate the one store with our Royal Mail account and job done. Yeah, I definitely think when you're integrating stores with My Post, having all those multiple stores is like a nightmare. And so maybe even what I'll do until I'm kind of culled down some stores, I might actually even just print maybe from my main store on the label printer and still just do the other ones via eBay. So as long as I can still keep my, band 5 discount or whatever by the one store. So we'll see. But yeah, it's much easier if you've only got the one store. Change is difficult for sure. I need to find some new routines. Anyone got any on offer? Okay, where's Gay? I'm worried that I'm pricing too high and being too greedy. I have 420 items in my store and I'm selling about 7 to 10 things a week. How do you know if that's normal? Okay, Gay, they kind of say that you roughly should sell 1 to 2% of the amount of items that you've got listed. This is just a rough theory that goes around. So if you have 1,000 items, then roughly you should be selling 10 items a day. So if you have 500 items, then roughly you should be maybe selling 5 items a day. That would be 1%. So if you're selling 7 to 10 things a week, it's probably sounds like maybe it's a little bit lower, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it could be your price, Gay. It could be to do with lots of things. It could be your pricing. It could be your titles. It could be your item specifics. It could be the description, the photos, anything. I saw your photos the other day of the shoes. They were looking great. Your photos looked really nice and clear, and they were on the white background, and they looked good. I'd have to have a look. If you wanted some constructive feedback, I am happy to have a look. You can send me your store if you're happy to share it. I know you don't have to. I know a lot of people like myself don't like to share stores, but if you did want me to take a look at a couple of your listings, I'm more than happy to do that. Just DM me over on Insta. But, with pricing, it can be a little hard. But if you're worried that you're pricing too high, have a look at the sold comps. That's how I do mine. I basically look at the sold comps and then see what it is, see what they're selling for. And, I try and go in around the same price. I think sometimes we can get a little bit greedy, and we sometimes think that the product is worth more than what it is. Like, a product is only worth what somebody else is willing to pay for it. And sometimes I think we can get caught up on what like the retail value of something is. So we might go, oh, look, I know these shoes are $100 retail. I'm going to try and get $80 for them. And it probably doesn't quite work like that. If you're too close to the retail price, then someone will rather pay retail. So I think you do have to find that balance of whether or not you be greedy. But you can if you've got the offers on it and you're a little bit higher, then they can always send you an offer, or you can send out an offer that's lower. Like I quite often send out quite low offers if my stock has been sitting there for a long time. I've got some clothing that I've got on a big sale at the moment. I'm just trying to move some of it along because some of it's stale in one of the stores. So I'm just trying to reduce it now. And, I'm trying not to really, I'm still making profit on all those items, even though, like I've got them quite heavily reduced. So, I don't know. I kind of look on it as you got your money coming in and your money going out, and then what's left is your profit. So, I look on it as a whole, not how much I'm making per particular item. To me, it's just one big picture. You've got all the money that you make from selling things. You've got all your business expenses, and your business expenses are not only your eBay fees and your postage, but it's everything like my storage shelves, my Dymo printer, my microphone for YouTube, my telephone, my car expenses, my storage that I'm now going to have, all the tubs that I buy, you've got your car expenses, your internet expenses. Like, there's so many expenses that come with running a business that all just come under that one big umbrella of expenses to me. So I just have the two umbrellas: money in, money out. What's left is my profit, So the idea is to make the profit. So, you either make your profit by spending less, get your expenses right down, and you make your profit by buying low. So you pay the least amount of possible that you can on an item and then sell it. So, yeah, I try not to look on it as a thing, but yeah, you're welcome to DM me, Gay, and I can have a look if I think your pricing is high. And but if you ask for my opinion, I will give you a constructive opinion because I can be quite blunt. If you ask my friends, they will tell you that I can be quite blunt. So it's not, if somebody asks for my feedback on your store and I say something, don't take offense to it, because it's not like I'm trying to be offensive or anything. It's more, take it as constructive. If you ask for help, then take the feedback as constructive, because it's not intended to be mean or nasty. It's intended to help you. I like bluntness. That's why you follow me then, because I am pretty blunt. What system do you use for tax, and how do you keep up with it? Okay, I'm actually pretty hopeless at tax myself in terms of keeping up with it. I'm not hopeless at doing tax. I'm hopeless at keeping up with it. I always have been. But ideally I try and do it monthly, so I can look at my figures on a monthly basis. And then if you know what you did the last month, you've got some goals then going forward for the next month. And you can look at your expenses over a month and go, okay, they were pretty high this month. What can I save money on? And then the next month, you can look at trying to reduce those expenses. Whereas if you don't look at your numbers for 3 or 4 months, then you don't know those numbers. And so you can't work on something to make yourself better or make your business better. So if I don't look at my expenses for 3 or 4 months, well, then they might be getting totally out of control and I haven't even realized. And I could be sitting there going, oh, I've spent way too much on stock, Whereas if I look at them as a month, then I can pull back the next month and go, okay, you spent too much you were spending too much, so rein it back in this month a little bit. So I think it's really good to look at it as a month. I keep it very basic. You know, I have the two basic spreadsheets. One of them has the income coming in. One of them has the expenses going out. So I just have a basic spreadsheet that's categorized: shipping costs, stock costs, internet costs, car costs, you know, packaging costs, storage costs. You know, I kind of just have them like that. And then I add up all the receipts, put them all in, and then add it in as a total. And then it's money coming in minus all those expenses equals the actual profit that I've made for that month. And then I can look at it and assess it. What can I change? What can I make better? Where could I save some money? Where could I make some more money? Like, did I pay too much in fees? Was I promoting too much? Could I cut that back? Could I cut back on stock? Did I overspend? You know, like I was really consciously trying to cut back on bubble wrap a few months ago because my bubble wrap expenses were just ridiculous. And the only reason I knew that was because I stopped and looked at them for the month and went, wow, I have spent so much money on bubble wrap. Like, what a waste of a few. It's not a waste because you need it, you know, but my gosh, $300 or $400 on bubble wrap. Like, oh, how can I scale that down to like 25%, 50%? You know, where can I, you know, how can I change this? So I think if you do keep looking at it, then it'll make you better for doing it. And, you know, I can get really busy and sometimes I can go a couple months and I don't look at it, and I always shoot myself when I do go back and do those papers, and then I go, I should have been on this. I should have been looking at this more carefully. So, you know, I personally don't have time to do my paperwork weekly. I just don't. It just wouldn't happen. But I think by allocating a few hours once a month, you can knock it off. Like, really, if you've got your receipts all kept in one box, you've got your bank statements, you're using a separate bank account for your business only. It's quite easy if you can just go and spend 2 or 3 hours once a month and do all that paperwork. I did have another question that's kind of in regards to that on Insta. Somebody asked me, what do I do with the receipts, and do I itemize each product by writing on the receipts? So I just want to say, what do I do with the receipts? I keep them all like in a bucket for the month, a tub or whatever, save them up over the month. And at the end of the month, you know, if I don't get time to do my paperwork at the end of the month, I'll get those receipts and just put them into like a large plastic snap block and put the month on them. But ideally I go through the receipts and I group them. So all the postage ones go into a pile, all the receipts for my stock go into a pile, all the ones for tubs, shelving, anything like storage kind of stuff, that goes into another pile. So I kind of pile it all out and, you know, staple it together. I most certainly don't itemize or write anything on the receipts. I think by law, you're not actually meant to write on the receipts. You're not actually, like, it's kind of changing something that you're required to have by law. I think, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure from memory, so I never write on my receipts. And I don't bother itemizing everything. I certainly don't have a spreadsheet that's got everything that I buy or sell or that's itemized. I just have it as stock. The accountant doesn't need to know that I've bought one pair of Sportscraft shorts and one pair of Bets and Bets shoes. They don't care. They don't care what I'm buying. It's like, you know, the supermarket Woolies. They don't have to tell the accountant that they've bought 5,000 Mars bars and 2,000 12 bars. They just need to say that they've spent 12,000 confectionery bars. Do you know what I mean? The accountant doesn't need to know the individual items of everything we buy. So just add it up as a total, you know. Just add up your stock is just a total. So keep your receipts, and you don't need to itemize at all for your bookkeeper or your accountant what the individual items are that you're buying. You just need to have it itemized that it's for stock, or it's for packing supplies, or it's for you know, storage supplies. So then they can categorize it. So keep it categorized, but you certainly don't need to individualize it all, if that makes sense. Okay, let me just go back, check this chat, see what I've missed. I can see Rod's in here. Hey, Rod. Hey, Toby and Miralis. Look at me, I made a live. Rod's outsourcing. Sunny on the Gold Coast. Cold here. Look, I've still got my little blankie down here. I would batch buy separate stores. Makes it easier to go into each store separately. I had my biggest single order on the weekend. The customer purchased 25 items, so it was a task making sure I had everything. Whoa, 25 items from one customer. That is freaking unreal. Well done, Joanna. Like, that is 25. That's huge. So that's awesome. I love it when you get batch orders because, you know, I think that is one good thing about niching. You know, like if somebody likes something from you and they regularly get that, then they can come back. I quite often, when I'm running a sale, I'll notice that I get quite a lot of multi-orders, and I think it's people can see that I've got a decent sale on, so then they just run a search in my store and look for other items of the same size perhaps. So I definitely think multi-orders are awesome. And yeah, yeah, there's pros and cons. I do like having a couple of my stores niched. So yeah, if you could do that, that would be wonderful. Yep, Gay, DM me. That's fine. Don't forget that once on managed payments, you don't get insertion fees. So the store limits are more than the final savings. Okay. Now, Bron actually contacted eBay yesterday about something, and she asked them about the unlimited or like the 100,000 or the 200,000 listings that everybody's kind of been talking about that we get on eBay now per store. And he said, you do get that quantity. You are allowed to list up to like 100,000 or 200,000 or something absolutely ridiculous in your stores. However, you're still got to pay the insertion fee over your store amount. That's what he's told Bron yesterday on the phone. So I'm not sure. There's a little bit of confusion about that, Dave. I keep hearing different stories, so it's a bit strange. So I'm not sure. I haven't noticed. I think one of my stores is over the limit, and I haven't noticed I've been charged insertion fees, but I might have to go back and have a better look. Yeah, looking at the whole is better than looking at each individual item. 100%. Just me, hello. I pick and pack my orders first, leave the parcel open, and put the consonants of the order in the reference box, and then using the reference label them. White cup becomes white cup. Yeah, it's I've been trying to do it as well on that little reference box on the new labels, and yeah, it's working not too badly for me. But I mean, I used to print the order out on my rough piece of paper, and then I'd have my eBay store open and I'd just scribble the Skew on it. So I was doing the similar thing. Now I've just got to type it into the label on the My Post rather than scribbling it on. But it's just a little bit, you know, because I just used to scribble and write like a code that black top, black skirt, you know, box this, blah, blah, blah. And whereas now knowing that it's going onto the shipping label, I'm trying to write it a little bit more nicely or, you know, indiscreetly almost. So, yeah. Night, Lainey. Blunt. I'm very blunt with you all the time, Ian. as a slap. Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, that's what you get for being friends with me, Ian. You get my bluntness. Buckets. One account for expenses, one account for stock, one for sales, so you can budget month to month. Yeah, but do you use the Barefoot Investor with bucket modes? I love the buckets. And, you know, if you are familiar with the Barefoot Investor with Scott Pape, then you will be familiar with a bucket system. And there's absolutely no reason why you can't use a bucket system in your business as well as your personal personal finances. The Barefoot Investor has an awesome, very simple, if you're not Australian, you probably don't know, but you've probably heard of Dave Ramsey if you're in like America or whatever, and I don't know who you've got in UK, but in Australia we have got the Barefoot Investor, and his name is Scott Pape, and he uses like a bucket system, and you can use the bucket system for your business. Absolutely, that's awesome. Do you add 10% GST? Will it say GST on your eBay receipt to the buyers? Okay, so you don't have to do GST until you get over like off memory 75,000 a year or something. So you don't actually have to start doing GST. So the first you can earn up to 75,000, 80,000 before you have to start implementing the GST into your system. So you've got a few months before you kind of do that, but once you I hate GST. Don't you hate GST? I hate it. I really do hate GST. So no, at the moment I am not doing, because it's a new financial year here for July, so I haven't gone over the GST level, so I'm not adding it in yet. But I will go over the GST level. I went over GST last year, so I will have to do GST. It's just monitoring my sales so I know when that's going to hit. I hate GST. I hate it. Could you please provide me an insight related to ABN and tax for eBay seller? Okay, so obviously I'm not a tax accountant, so I'm not like a specialist about it, and I will put a disclaimer out there. If you have any tax questions, you really should ask your accountant. However, in terms of having an ABN, yes, get an ABN. In terms of reselling, if you are just selling a few things from around your house, then, you can, that's fine. You're just selling off your own personal goods. That's like selling on Facebook Marketplace, something that you own. If you are buying things with the intention to resell them to make money, then you are classed as a business. And the taxation office these days doesn't give you like, back in the day they used to say you can earn $10,000 like as a hobby business, and now they don't. Basically now it says on the website, if your intention is to make money, then you are a business, and it doesn't matter if you are making $5 or $500,000, you are a business. So if you are physically going out to the charity shops like I am to buy things with the intention to resell them and make money, then I'm a business. Whether or not I'm doing that on a couple of items, I'm still classified as a business. If you're just selling the few things from around your house, that's fine. You wouldn't need to have like business stuff for that. But if you decide that you want to start doing like what I'm doing, where you go out to the charity shops or you go to a garage sale and you physically start sourcing for items that you can flip to make money, then you're classified as a business and you should get an ABN. And having an ABN is actually really quite good. It's simple to get. You just apply for it online. It's very easy, and you can get some benefits with having an ABN. Like you can use it for business purposes. You can go to Bunnings and get a discount card. Because you're got the ABN. And yesterday I went to Bunnings and bought some shelves for my new storage unit. I bought 6 shelves, a torch, and a padlock. And I ended up using my Bunnings card, which I've talked about in another live, but I should do like a separate thing on it. But you can get these Bunnings cards if you have an ABN, and you save yourself a minimum of 5%. So yesterday I bought 6 shelves, a torch, and a padlock, and I saved $39. So that's almost like a free shelf. So just by using that card. So there are benefits of having the ABN if you're doing it as a business. Even car loans and different things like that. So I would definitely, if you're going to start with the intention to make money and resell items, start looking for things that you can sell to make money, then definitely, I did the same as you, Mel. Maybe I need to create a basic Skew to put in that postage box. At the moment, I'm writing on the back of my labels after I print, so it's a bit painful. I think with the label printer, that would be too hard for me because it's spitting out a lot of labels at once, and I don't want to have to be looking at the name and then writing it down. No. So I'm using that little reference box on the my post to type in what it is. So, you know, if it was this can of Coke, I would write Coke, or just it doesn't have to be specific to the person. It has to be specific so that I know what it is. Or I'm typing in the SKU, like the box VV number 555 or whatever it is. So yeah. Are you on managed payments? Yes, I am. Yeah, and I like managed payments. I haven't had any problems with flicking over to the managed payments. And as far as I'm concerned, like, the buyers have more options and different ways to pay for it. You know, before they could only basically use eBay if they had PayPal, because most people don't do direct bank deposit these days. It was all PayPal. So if people didn't have PayPal accounts, you know, with some money in it, then they weren't buying off eBay. Whereas now we're starting to see people come through that never had PayPal and can come on and use their credit cards and different ways to pay. So I actually think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for business, and it had to evolve. And, you know, I think we'll all get, if anybody's not used to managed payments, I think we will be soon. Yep. Now I've got some more questions here on Instagram, so I'm just going to flick it open so I can see what they were. Oops, where is it? What are the ways that you can implement to reduce an item not as described claim by buyers, especially on clothing? Okay, so this person wants to know how you can reduce getting an item not as described claim. So the best way to I hardly get anything that says items not as described. I hardly even get a return request on my stuff. It's very, very minimal. Some months I get no return requests. So and if I do get some, it's like one, maybe two. Like, it's very, very minimal for me. And I think the idea of not getting an item not as described is to be very clear in your photos. Make sure your photos are clear. Don't hide anything. Like, show close-ups. If there's a flaw in the clothing, show it. If your book has got turned up pages or are yellow, show it. If your shoes have got scuff marks on the front of it, get up close and show them. You know, take specific little close-ups of things that are not great. If you've got a top and it's got a bit of pilling on it, put it in the description that it's a little bit pilled, and kind of just don't exaggerate. Don't say something's very good if it's only really acceptable. Do you know what I mean? Like, be honest basically with what you say with your items. So show your photos, make sure the photos are clear. You know, I think sometimes we get items not as described if the photos are crappy, because if the photos don't show, you need to make sure they're showing the proper color. You want, if you've got, do you remember that thing that went around Facebook like a couple years ago with what color was the dress? Was it white or was it blue or something? You know, because it can look different with different lights. And I think that's where you've got to show your colors. Make sure when you take the photo, and then if your top is gray, make sure it looks gray in the photo. If it's navy, make sure it looks navy and not black. You know, if it's pink, make sure it looks pink and not hot pink. You know, if it's a soft pink. So I think we've got to be careful with our photos, and, you know, check your lighting is showing the photos correctly and the right color. I think it's really, really important to get the right color. And sometimes that might mean you need to edit your photos. You might be shooting and your photos might be a little bit cool. And you might need to warm them up a little bit. So, you know, I think checking the colors is a big thing. Like, nobody wants to order a top that has said it's blue and it's actually kind of more greeny blue. Do you know what I mean? Oh, ching. So yeah, make sure your colors are right. And if there's any flaws on the item, just make sure you show them and be specific, and write it in the description if there is something wrong. I mean, in my condition description, I always just have it very simple that says, please see the photos for the condition and read the description. And then down in the description box, if there's any specific that I need to do. Like if I was selling a book and it had pen in it, I would show a photo of the pen. If you know how quite often like a book's got somebody's name written inside it or something like that. So take a photo of that. And then in the description, I would write, please see the photos, pen is noted in the book. See the photos or something, or if it's a clothing item and, there's a button missing, take the photo of where the button is missing. And then in the description, write button is missing, please see photos. So just make sure you really do look at the items that you're selling and, be honest with the condition of it. Don't say something's excellent if it's only very good, or don't say it's very good if it's only good. Like we have to really look at it as you're better off to say it's good and it's very good. And then the customer gets it and goes, wow, that was actually way better than I thought. And then they're happy. Whereas if you've said it's very good and then they buy it and then they go, oh, actually that's only pretty good, then they kind of get that flat and they're disappointed. So I think the best way just with items not as described is just be clear and just be honest and just make sure you show everything. Like if something is got lots of little faults, show lots of little faults. You've got 12 photos there, so use the photos to show what it is and use the description box. And, if you've got the flaws written into the description, and you've got the condition and you've shown photos of it from different angles and stuff, then, it's harder for them to say it's not as described if you physically made the effort to try and describe it. So that would be my case. That would be my comment to that. Definitely just, make sure your photos. I think the photos are a massive part of items not as described. Just clicked that eBay off again. What's your favorite brand to sell and what do you sell most of? My favorite brand to sell in terms of clothing would probably be Kathmandu, I reckon. I love selling Kathmandu. It always sells well for me. I seem to be able to pick a lot of it up here where I live. We do have some stores here. And maybe because Canberra's quite open, we do get a lot of people who do hiking and stuff, and maybe they're outdoorsy and they wear that kind of stuff, maybe more than, say, Melbourne in the city or something. But, I do find it quite easy to source Kathmandu. It sells well for me. It's good quality and, there's a good range in it. So I probably enjoy selling Kathmandu the most. So I always look for Kathmandu. What else? I really enjoy selling like Witchery, Seed, Sportscraft. They're all good brands for me, and I really enjoy selling plus size clothes as well. They do well. So they would be my favorite types of brands, I guess. And what do I sell the most of? I don't think there's really one thing that's specific I think for me to be selling them, because I sell a lot, for me to be selling more of one particular thing would mean that I'd have to be getting more of that one particular brand or whatever. So, I do have a pretty good mix in my stores. I do buy a lot of bread and butter. So I don't think there's anything really particularly that stands out as a better seller than other things, but there's things that sell regularly and often. So, but yeah, if I had to pick one brand, I'd say Kathmandu. I like Kathmandu. Did you start reselling intending to do it full time? No, not at all. I started reselling when I had some health issues. I was sick from my breast implants. They were poisoning me and they are now gone, a la naturel. So I was sick and basically I was living in a lot of chronic pain, and I was a photographer at the time, and I just got to the point where I could barely carry all my photography equipment, and, chasing toddlers around the park to get photos was becoming harder and harder because I was in a lot of chronic pain down the sides of my body and things like that. So I was getting a lot of weekly treatment, and, doctors couldn't find out what was wrong with me. And, I was not in a good way. So I took some time off my photography and started reselling. And, I had been reselling a little bit while I was doing the photography. And like I said before, I was the intention was to put that money into my retirement fund in my super, because I wasn't paying myself really any super when I was doing the photography. So yeah, I guess once I stopped doing the photography, I was like, well, I can still do the reselling from home, because it was just much less on my body and I could be at home and not have to do anything, and I could just do it slowly and as much or as little as I wanted. So yeah, then the more I did reselling, and I had surgery, got rid of my toxic implants, and immediately felt 100% better. And I kind of thought after 3 months of having the surgery and I was fully recovered, because it's quite a major surgery, I thought, yep, I'll go back to my photography after 3 months. And after 3 months after the surgery, I just was loving the reselling. I didn't have any desire to go back to the photography. I almost had a lot of bad vibes from the I had a lot of bad memories, because doing the photography while I'd been in so much pain was actually mentally quite hard. And the thought of having to go back to a job that caused a lot of not caused the pain, but associated pain, I guess, with me, like I just didn't want to do it. So that's when I kind of decided that I was going to amp up this reselling, and decided to, give it a few months and see if I could build it up to the next level, which I did. And then it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to do this full time. I love this. I can do this. I can make this work. And, I haven't looked back. That was it. Hey, Susan. I can't even give Kathmandu. Really? I love it. I just think it's such good quality. The zip-off pants, they sell so well. I get quite a few of the zip-off pants. They sell really well for me. Obviously, if you get any jackets, soft shells or anything, they sell. Kathmandu boots, shoes, like there's a whole range with Kathmandu. I just find their stuff really, really awesome to sell. So yeah, that was that question. Did I intend to go full time? I didn't. It ended up there, and I've never looked back. Also, with time, you realize that you leave clothes behind with flaws that are not worth the effort. There's so much stock available with clothing. Absolutely agree. I think in the beginning, I used to pick things up all the time. I'll go, oh, it's missing a button, but it's a really cool brand. I'll still get it. I'll sew a button onto it, and then it would sit in the pile of things to do, and I would never sew the button on it. So now I do not buy anything without a button. Although if there was a spare button on the inside of a shirt or something, I might do it and then but I wouldn't bother sewing it on myself. I just take the photo and say, missing a button, spare included, something like that. But yeah, you're right. I think in the beginning you just kind of go, oh look, there's a nice witchery top. I'll just grab that. And then when you get home, you go, oh, bummer, there's a flaw. The more you get used to it, the more you do start knowing exactly where to look for the flaws, because quite often they're in similar, under the arms or, down the seams or something. And you kind of get used to it, and it's easier to look. So where are we? What was the ka-ching noise? I've forgotten. Well, I've only had one, hasn't it? It's a bit sad. Where are we? Okay. Question. What would you have done with the business if you were in stage 4 like Melbourne is? I think you just have to kind of, if you're going to, if you've gone into stage 4, I think you just have to kind of think a bit outside the box. And yes, your normal sourcing ways change, but you have to kind of think, maybe it's a matter of asking your friends. Hold on, my son's just messaging me. I'm going to my friend's house. Ta-da. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of thinking outside the box. And I don't know, maybe it's even a matter of putting a call out to your friends and your family. Hey, I sell shoes. Does anyone have any shoes they don't want? I'm I'm reselling clothes. You know, if anybody has any, I'm willing to pick it up. Contactless trade off, you know, I'm not sure because lockdown, I don't even know. They're not even allowed to drive very far or something. I'm not 100% sure of the rules or how it works with Facebook or whatever. I think it's definitely one thing, Dave, but before this COVID, I was really big on not having a death pile. I was really almost anti it, like buy it, come home, photograph it, list it, very, very minimal death pile. I am the opposite at the moment. I have got way more death pile than I can handle, hence the storage unit. And, you know, I think going through this COVID has really made me see that this is my full-time job and I need to keep listing a certain amount of things each week to maintain those sales. So, you know, I need to have stock on hand. So I'm actively seeking bulk deals now, and I'm sourcing differently myself, and I bought, you know, that big haul like a few weeks ago, and I bought another large bulk lot over the weekend. So I got stock coming out my ears. So yeah, I'm really glad that we didn't get to stage 4 here. If I got to stage 4 now, I would be all right for a little while. I have a lot of stock here. So I do think that we need to kind of think ahead for times like this. And it's probably one thing that as resellers, we've all learned. Do you know what I mean? We've learned from this COVID, like that things can change very quickly and very fast. And, you know, we have to be able to adapt and change with it. So yeah. I'm in lockdown and I still think I have a couple of years. Wow, that's huge. Couple of things. Wow. Okay. Where are we? I've got another question here on Instagram. How are you using the storage shed? Is it for packing and for photos there? No. Basically, I had to really think hard about the storage unit. I thought about it a few weeks ago and then I decided not to get it. My husband wasn't that keen on me getting it and having another expense. But after I got the big haul, I had kind of mentally said to myself, at the end of September, this haul needs to be gone from my living area. And if it's not, I need to have a plan of action. So most of that haul is not gone. It's still sitting in my living. I have condensed it a little bit, but most of it's still sitting in my living area. I did get another bulk lot on the weekend. And I think after the weekend was when I came home and just went, this is ridiculous. So my garage of listed stock also has death pile in it. So now I'm feeling like I'm congested. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm feeling like I've hardly got room to step back behind me while I'm packing, which is making me feel claustrophobic. I've also bought a huge amount of, I did a bulk load from Australia Post. So I ordered hundreds and hundreds of packing supplies, mailers and stuff. And, you know, they've come in big boxes and now I've got like hundreds of these mailers and I got no room to put them either. Like I wanted to buy them in bulk. I wanted to be prepared for Q4. That was really important to me this year, to be fully prepped for Q4. And one of those things was buying all my pre-buying like packing supplies and stuff. So it's just one less task for me to do. So I did that, but I didn't really take into the account how much room they were going to take up. So I've got loads of stock. I've got loads of packing supplies, and I'm just feeling congested. So my office here as well, you can't see it because I'm here backed up against this ugly wall, but in front of me is manic. So the storage unit, the idea of my storage unit is to move all my unlisted stock to the storage unit, and all my listed stock will stay here. Now, the storage unit's only like 2 minutes drive from my house. So it's so close to me. So the idea is after I do hauls and, you know, buying, I'm going to take it straight over to the storage shed and it's going to be organized and easy to see what everything is and what needs to go. And then I will pretty much be bringing a couple of tubs at a time of stuff over to the house, dealing with them, photographing them, listing them, putting them away in the inventory system, done. Each day I will go back to the storage and get another couple of tubs, and that's how it's going to be. So I'm not going to be keeping any more than maybe 2 or 3 tubs of stock here at a time that needs photographing and listing. And once it's done and it's put away and it's all neat and clean, then I go back to the storage unit and bring over a couple more tubs to list. So I think that's going to get me into a really good state of flow, and it's going to stop me feeling absolutely congested, because I feel congested in this room at the moment. You can't see it, but I feel congested. I'm I can hardly step into this office even to photograph. Like, there's stuff everywhere. The floor's covered, there's shelves in here, like everything. It's manic. Tubs in here, shelves in here, the floor's covered, my desk is covered. So yeah, and then maybe what'll happen is I might actually be able to change up this office a little bit and move stuff around so that I've got, because I'm going to have heaps more room in here if I'm not storing a lot of my death pile, and because this area is meant to be for my death pile. However, my death pile has gone into the garage and into the lounge room and into the hallway. And, where's next? The bedroom? Like, I don't want it in the bedroom. So I think, if I can get this area clean in here, I might be able to do something different for my whole YouTube setup here. So it might look different, and, I might be able to make it look a bit nicer behind me. Do something. So yeah. Where are we? I know you prefer natural lighting, but what's your preferred light? The ring light, the LED light, or the softbox? So, Dave, I do prefer natural lighting, and if the only lighting I have is a ring light, which is here in front of me now. I bought the ring light for YouTube for putting here in front of me, and I always just did natural light with the photos. But because I've got more and more stuff around, it's kind of adds more shadows and stuff. It's a bit harder. So I have been using the ring light to help me with my photography lately. So soft boxes are very bulky. I think they're nice. They give off a nice soft light, but they're bulky. They take up a lot of room, and you often need 2 of them, one on each side coming from each direction, sometimes even 3. They're just big and bulky, and I personally don't have the room for soft boxes. I've got the single ring light. Would it be good to have 2 maybe on each direction? But it's just another expense, and I don't feel like my photos look like, I know personally I could make the photos look better with a little bit more light, but does the buyer know that? Probably not. So I've just got my one little ring light. It cost me, I can't remember, maybe $150 or something off eBay, and it's just enough to give that little extra bit of feel light. But yeah, natural light is still the best way to go if you can. It's free, it's easy. It's all you need is your window. Shoot near your window. But yeah, I just don't like lights. Even when I was a photographer, I hated using lights. Like, I was a natural light photographer even when I did that. So lights are not my thing, but yeah, I do know that sometimes you need them, and sometimes people just have to shoot in the night and you have to make use with what you've got. Yeah, if I had to use lights all the time, I think I'd probably, if I had the space, I would use soft boxes, but it depends on your space. I think it really does depend on your space. Do you have a certain percentage of profit that you look for when accepting offers? Not really. I think in the minimum I like to get, like a minimum of $10 profit is pretty good. But it depends on what the item is. Do you know what I mean? Like, on a CD or a DVD or a book, I'm not always going to make $10 profit. So I have to be prepared for that if I'm doing bread and butter stuff like that. But if I was doing clothing, I would like to make at least $10. And most of my clothing is bread and butter stuff, really. But on bread and butter clothing, you should be able to make a $10 profit. Easy. So I would definitely say profit-wise, I try and, after like fees, postage, everything like that, my aim would be to make a minimum of $10, I'd say. I don't really think of it like that, but Susan, because I do do it as like that monthly thing. Money in, money out equals profit. So some items I make more on, some items I make less on, and it all kind of evens out in the wash and you end up with your profit. So, but you know, I think a good rule of thumb is you don't want to be spending too much time listing stuff that's not going to make you enough money. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to spend hours of my day listing stuff that's only going to make me a $2 profit. DVDs might not make me very much profit, but they're quick. Do you know what I mean? They're quick to photograph and quick to list. So, you know, there's some items that you can expect to make less profit from and be happy to make less profit on. And then there's other items like clothing is going to take me much more time to photograph than, say, a DVD. So I'm happy to take less profit off a DVD than clothing, because when it's clothing, I might have to iron it, and then I have to hang it, and then I have to fold it, and, you know, I have to take many more photos. I have to measure it. I have to describe it more. So the whole process is more time consuming. And it also takes me longer to source. Like I have to really flick through those racks looking for items to, you know, to buy. So I do try and make more profit on my clothing items than, you know, other items that are quicker to process. Where are we? Where are we? Let me just see this. How do you price brand new with tag items, and what percentage of the recommended retail price? Somebody's asked me on Insta. How do you price brand new with tags? I think it depends. If I'm buying the brand new with tags items from retail arbitrage, so say I go and buy a brand new pair of Nike shoes and I want to make profit off those Nike shoes, I kind of look on it as if I was going to sell a pair of Nikes, I want to make about a $20 profit, $20, $30 profit minimum on those shoes. If I'm buying a new with tags item just from a charity shop that's got the tag on it, you know, it's a little bit tricky. Just because it's got a tag on it which says it's worth $100 doesn't mean you're going to get $100, and it doesn't mean you're going to get $80. You know, sometimes you might not even get $50 on an item that's got $100 brand new with tags. I think you've still got to run your comps, even if it's a brand new item. And you know, if I pick up a dress and it's got a tag on it that says it's worth $100. I can't just go off that tag and go, woot, got a dress, it's worth $100. Ooh, sweet, I'm going to get $50. No, I've still got to go into eBay and run the comps, because that dress might be out of style now and it might not be worth even $50. I might be lucky to sell it for $30, you know, even though it's brand new with tags and the tag says $100. So even if your item is brand new with tags and you get it from the charity shop, still run your comps. It doesn't mean you're going to get anywhere near that price of what it is. Now, if you're buying retail arbitrage, then you're obviously buying current stock, because you're buying stuff from the stores right now, stuff that's for sale right now. So chances are that stuff is still quite current, and you know, you hopefully be able to get a little bit higher from it. But I think in terms of retail arbitrage, we should be looking at, you know, the profit margin is less, and I don't do enough of it retail arbitrage to know exactly what the percentages are that you're meant to make, whether or not it's 10%, 20%, something like that. But your profit will be less of retail arbitrage than a charity store item quite often. But the benefits of doing that retail arbitrage is you might be able to buy multiple items of the same thing. You might be able to buy 10 items of exactly the same thing, and let's say it's a toy. You might be able to go buy 10 of those toys that you can now get ready to sell for Christmas, and you only have to do one listing. So it becomes, so even though you're making less profit on that one item, the whole system and process is much quicker because you're only doing one listing with multiple stock quantities. I hope that makes sense. When I was doing retail arbitrage with Nikes, I was aiming to make about $20 to $30 per shoe. Some shoes I was making more than that, but at the minimum I was trying to make $20, because I was having to outlay quite a lot of money to buy brand new Nike shoes to make money on. But I was buying them from the outlet, and I was able to make quite good profit on the Nike shoes. But I was having to spend a lot more money on stock, which is why I ended up switching to the stuff for the charity shops, because basically I was buying one pair of Nike shoes for $60 to make a $20 profit, which was fine, but I could go to the charity shop and get 20 or 30 items for my $60 and make $10 profit on each one of those items. So in terms of what I was getting back, just a different business model. But, that's why I ended up switching from retail arbitrage fully to charity. But, it's good to have a bit of a mix. Every now and then I still buy Nikes. Why do you run more than one eBay store? Why not have it all in the one shop? Patricia, I think back then it was my store levels. I was going over, I was already on the middle store level, and to go up to the top store level, it's like a huge jump from like $50 a month paying eBay to like $500-600 a month for your store fee. Otherwise, you're paying insertion fees on every item that you list over 1,500. So the middle store, you're allowed 1,500 items. You can have as many listings really as you want. But after 1,500 items, you have to pay an insertion fee on each additional item. So rather than jump up to the $600 store from a $50 store, it was more economical for me to open up a second store and have a couple of stores going with, 1,000, 1,500 items each to save insertion fees. And the other reason why people do it is to niche, like keep things different. Somebody might have a media store, and then they might have a clothing store, or they might have really like electricals and in one store, or somebody might do a lot of glassware and want all that kind of stuff different than in their clothing store. So I think people niche a lot of the time with multiple stores, and it's just because they sell things that are quite different. And, if you're really into glassware that's really, pretty glassware, you might really enjoy looking through a store that's got all of these lovely glassware items listed. Whereas if you're buying clothes, it might be good just to look through a clothing store for your size and see if there's anything else that you want. That's really the only reason. They're the couple of benefits. There are benefits to just having one big store, but like it's much easier. It's much easier to manage one store than having to pop in and out and change between shops all the time. 2 a.m. there. Thanks for watching, Neil. Good night. And I'm nearly ready to. I think I got one more question here I wanted to answer. How do you price storage shared? Nope, that's it. I think I'm done. Has anyone else got any questions in the chat that you want to ask me? This is just a bit of a random chat. I think the last couple of weeks, the reason why I decided to do a bit of a random chat tonight is that I've just been manic. But once I finish here today, I'm going to go to my storage shed and start building shelves. I've already bought 6 shelves. I think I need to go and buy another half a dozen. So we'll see how we go. I'm going to be building shelves all day. And what else is coming up for me? I did a collaboration, and I can't wait to share it with you guys, because I collaborated with somebody who, is a very good reseller. And I don't want to give too much away, but basically this collaboration kind of turned into like a mentoring session for me. And, when you watch it, you will probably see like there's a few times where I was like, light bulb moment. And hopefully if that was a light bulb moment for me, it'll be a light bulb moment for you guys as well. So it is a 2-part series that's going to be coming, and I'm excited. So that's coming out on Thursday morning, I think it is, for Australia time. So I think it's around, what will it be UK time? Ian, help me out. It's probably about midnight UK that it's going to come out. Sorry, guys. I think for US it'll be around 4:35 in the afternoon. So yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I really hope you guys like that, and I look forward to sharing that with you. And yeah, and I'm not sure I feel like I've got a lot going on at the moment. So maybe in terms of my Tuesday mornings live, like there might be a couple of weeks where I just feel like I'm too busy, and I might actually put a pre-recorded out on a Tuesday morning if I feel like I've got too much going on over the next couple of months, just with Christmas and Q4 and stuff. But we'll just see how we go with that. And yeah, and I'm going camping in a couple of weeks. So I'm going camping with some friends, and just going to have 3 nights, I think it is, in a tent. Back to the basics. I love sleeping in a tent. I love camping, and I have been feeling like I need a bit of a break. So, I'm really excited just to be able to take a few nights off, hang out with some friends, sit around the campfire and have a few beers and hang out with the kids and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be fun. So, yeah. Thanks, Mel. I've learned a lot of you. My favourite seller, along with Chris from Daily Refinement. Chris is amazing. He really is amazing. Yep. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go build some shelves. Might make a time lapse for you and show you some footage inside my little storage unit. That would be fun. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, for everyone coming in. If you want to hit the like, that'll help me out. I had a few trolls in here before I even went live who decided to give me the thumbs down. So, let's make it up with them and give them some thumbs up. Thank you, guys. See ya. Bye.